You know, we often talk about Vietnam just because of the high level of tariffs for that particular country in that tariff list. And it is also a great example of a country that benefited a lot from the Trump administration, well, the first Trump administration's trade war with China as well. Do you think Vietnam is going to continue as a winner in this continued talks of ramping up relationship between Europe and ASEAN, because all the factories are there, all the capacity has been really built in Vietnam to begin with?
Well, I think Vietnam's done a great job. First of all, Vietnam has an FTA with the EU, and we've seen huge growth in trade and indeed huge growth in investment on the back of that FTA with Europe. And then being in CPTPP and being in RCEP and having multiple other trade deals, they positioned themselves very, very well. And the China Plus One strategy that many businesses were following meant Vietnam was a great recipient of investment and more manufacturing. I don't actually see that fundamentally changing. The whole idea of President Trump's so-called reciprocal tariffs, that, manufacturing will relocate to the US, that's not going to happen. The costs are much, much higher. Moving factories is not easy. Moving their supply chains is not easy. And I think Vietnam still remains in a very strong position.
You know, Chris, I mean, this is all very high level and geopolitical, but when you boil it down, it's kind of like the playground, right? It's like, okay, look, if you don't want to play nice, right, me and my friends here, we're going to play among ourselves, right? Are you confident then that, including the EU and, let's say, China and the rest of Asia, that there will be enough cooperation to end up actually bringing tariffs down?
Clearly,
between each other.
Between each other?
Yeah.
Well, I think between each other, yes, because there's so many trade deals in place. And you look at something like RCEP, which involves China, Japan and Korea and Southeast Asia and others, that's already bringing tariff rates down. It's already making exporting easier. It's reducing customs procedures costs as well. CPTPP is another one. And I think you will see more and more trade deals being done between Europe and all of Asia, particularly here in Southeast Asia. That will make businesses much easier, or make the cost of doing business much lower as well. It will open up new markets and open up new opportunities. So I think that's the way we're heading. We were heading in that direction anyway. I think what's happened from April the 2nd, with ridiculous numbers being generated out of the ether, means that is going to accelerate as a process.
We better get a move on.
Exactly, and that's clearly what's happening.